This is Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. Your RV guide for Oklahoma and beyond. Give us a call at 918-460-KRMG. Now, let's hit the road.
Good afternoon and welcome to Camping with Wade's RV. This is 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. Skyler Cooper along with Willy D, who, man, you are broadcasting in style today as we continue to broadcast remotely. Tell me where you're coming from today.
You're right. I am in style. I'm in about the coolest RV that we have here on the lot. We had a brand new Newmar New Air come in, and this thing is the bomb.com, you might say. It runs about 500,000 MSRP. And so I'm sitting here, I'm kicking back in the recliner, and whoever buys this, let me tell you, they are a very lucky individual because this thing is just top of the line luxury from all the way from the ceilings down to the floor. And really, I mean, if you look at this floor, it is just incredible. It's got this amazing kind of marbled tile in here. I mean, it's nicer than just about any house I've ever seen. So if you haven't seen the New Air or you're interested in one of our higher end motorhomes, come on out here and see the difference, because I was talking to someone about a gas rig that they own right now, and then they went and looked at a Newmar and they were just blown away just by the difference in the styling and construction. So even though you might be familiar with diesels, if you haven't set foot inside a Newmar, you have to come and see the difference.
It sure is pretty. You can check it out, wadesrv.com. That's where I was looking at it last week. And speaking of wadesrv.com, that's one way to get a hold of you guys. Where can they find you and how can they reach you?
So there's lots of different ways that you can get a hold of us. For one, you can always ring up that old telephone. Our phone number is 918-291-1011, and one of our lovely receptionists will answer the phone and get you directed where you need to go, either whether it's parts, service, or storage, or even sales. We can help you out with any sort of RV need that you have. You can also get online, like you were saying, at wadesrv.com, or we're all over social media. So if you have Facebook, get on Facebook, like Wade's RV. We post lots of different stuff and lots of different things that we're doing in the community. And so you can find out about that. You can also get on YouTube if you want to learn about some how-tos and different maintenance things. You can get on there. I have lots of great informational videos on there, and then lots of walkthrough videos as well. So I'm going to be working on one of the walkthrough videos for this New Air so then everyone can see it if they're not able to get out. So then that way everyone can experience the luxury and all the cool features and all the cool innovations. Whenever we get these new products in, one of my favorite things to do is walk around and see what's new and what has changed, because whenever you get those new models, you know, there's going to be new features. So one of my favorite things is over in the passenger seat of this New Air. It actually has a full control panel. I almost feel like it's Star Trek or something with all the technology that's in here. And so you can control just about the whole coach from that passenger seat, which is pretty handy. If you're driving, you know, you don't necessarily want to be taking your eyes off the road to be able, you know, changing the climate or changing a different lighting setting or things like that. So whoever is in that cockpit riding shotgun, they can help you out with that. That way you can manage driving down the road and make sure you're nice and safe.
Wade's RV heavily involved in the community down there, and you guys really partner closely with Blue Star Mothers. Last week, you broadcasted from there. You were broadcasting from Blue Star Mothers in Broken Arrow, and you guys have a promotion going on. It lasts, we're now into August, so that's a couple weeks away. You have a big deal happening down there at Wade's RV.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and you can participate now. So we are always looking to get involved in the community and give back to the community. And so this month, what we're doing is we partnered with the Blue Star Mothers. We partnered with these ladies for years, and they are incredible. What they do is they take care of all of our soldiers overseas. They send boxes over there, kind of care packages, and they have tons of different items in there, and they're really in need. You know, due to the pandemic, they haven't been able to go out and do fundraising or do big donation collections. And so at Wade's RV, we're doing a couple different things to help these ladies. For one, if you have any of the supplies that they're in need of, you can get on our Facebook. I have a full list on there. There's about 40 different items that they're in need of. Things like baby wipes, Pop-Tarts, hand sanitizer, toothbrushes, toothpaste, ramen noodles, crackers. And one thing that I had never even thought about was ketchup packets and taco sauce. I love to go to Taco Bell and get that taco sauce. And so if you have any of those extra packets, they put those in a Ziploc bag and ship those overseas. That way the soldiers can have a little bit extra flavoring to those food. I don't know if you've ever had an MRE, Skyler, but they're not necessarily the most flavorful, let me put it that way. And so that way it really, really helps these guys out. So that's one way that we're helping them. So you can get on there or get on their website, and they have that full list if you want to go out shopping and help these folks out. And then the next way is if you purchase an RV from Wade's RV, Wade Reeves, he is always giving back. And it just amazes me about how generous he is. But every RV that's purchased here at Wade's RV, Wade is going to give a portion of that RV back to those Blue Star Mothers, because not only do they need donations, it is expensive to ship those boxes over there. They told me it's about $40 in content that they put inside those boxes, and the shipping is about $9 to $11. So that does add up over time, and these ladies send hundreds of boxes a month. And so anything that you can do, if you don't necessarily want to go out to the grocery store and get groceries, I know that's not necessarily my favorite thing to do. You can just give them good old fashioned money, and so they're never going to turn that down. And that way, it's going to literally pay for the postage for those boxes to get overseas. And one thing that they told me that really took me back is, due to the pandemic, not just with the donations, but there is a lot of soldiers that are actually stuck. So they were scheduled to come home, and there's a lot of them that are stuck in airports or stuck on bases, and they're not allowed to come home right now. And so these boxes are really, really helping them uplift their spirits and things. And there's just so many different ways that you can get involved with them. I was talking to them, and they said that usually they're having Girl Scout troops and different classes come in and get the different boxes. You can go to the post office, and the boxes are free. And usually these kids are coloring on them, giving messages to the troops. So if you have some kiddos that are sitting inside and you need something for them to do, or you want to just kind of teach them about giving back to the community and helping out, go get some of those boxes and have them color on there. And then you can bring those by Wade's RV, and we'll make sure those get to the Blue Star Mothers. Or like I said, you can drop those on by the Broken Arrow Blue Star Mother branch, and they will make sure that it gets filled up with content and shipped over there to someone who needs it and someone that's really, really going to appreciate it. I've talked to a couple different members out in the community, and they have received these boxes. And let me tell you, they will tell you for about an hour about how much this box means to them, because there is just so much things that you don't have over there. And it amazed me, just the different things that we take for granted day to day.
It's a great cause. And if you want to help out, get more information from Wade's RV, call them at 918-291-1011. As we get into the show today, we want to take your questions. You can text us. The new number is 70123. Put KRMG in the front of your message, and then whatever you want to say or ask, Willy D has the answer. That number again, 70123. Before we start talking about all the RVs and camping, Willy D, we want to talk about, I want to tell you about some things, just a little bit of advice for you, because you told me before the show that you're heading up to Skytook when we get done today. You're going to do a little rodeo, so I want to hear about that. But first of all, number one, your top priority, you listening, is go to Max Barbecue and eat literally anything. That is the place. I grew up there. I grew up in Skytook. I've been eating at Max Barbecue since I was about 9 or 10. And go see my buddy Adam. He's the owner there, and man, you will have a great experience. Now, I grew up, as kids are, they tend to find one thing they like and they stick to it. So I ate the Frito pie for years and years and years, and it's like barbecue but Frito pie. It's amazing. But literally anything is good. The mac is like the 3-meat sandwich. We're going on a tangent here with barbecue, but it's good stuff, man. So first of all, stop there, and secondly, make sure you go over to the high school. And I forget the parking lot number, but you can go see where my truck was stolen the night I graduated high school.
It sounds like it's a town full of adventure. I go into these different rodeos. It's funny that you said the barbecue. That's kind of the highlight of all these towns that I go to, is that, everyone brags about, hey, you got to get this barbecue joint. So, how they have that pizza review, I might have to start doing the barbecue review about all these different places. So I'll definitely check that out, because I'm going to need some lunch. I was out there last night, and it was a really, really great time. And you're right. I am going up to Skytook, and I'm going to be riding in a rodeo. It's a benefit for firefighters. I've got this new little itch and this bug. I've been riding these ranch broncs. So if you want to come see Willy D, come on up to Skytook. There's going to be a little bit of a benefit rodeo, and your admission and stuff is going to go to help those firefighters. I'm all about giving back to the community myself, and so this is a little bit of a way that I can give back. I'm going to go get on one of those bucking horses, and it ought to be a show. Let me put it that way. I'm not quite sure what kind of show it's going to be, but it will be one indeed. So I'm going to go check out that barbecue, and I'll go by and check out your good old high school parking spot. I know when I was in high school, I kind of had my little spot where me and my buddies all parked. So it's definitely kind of a special thing. I can definitely relate to you there.
Yeah, I don't want to knock the town. It wasn't anyone there that I know of that stole my truck, but they took advantage of a big crowd at a parking lot. So I did find that truck, by the way. It was all, that's a different story. It's a different radio show. Also, go to the lake and check that out too. Go to Tall Chief Cove or something, see Skytook Lake. It's a beautiful lake. We have a couple minutes before we take our first break, and I want to know about some of the changes out there at Wade's RV. We're always updating people on what's coming on, and you got a couple of new things, including a really good used model.
Yes. So for one, we've had lots of different improvements, and so we do have our concrete pads finished. And so if you've been over to the Wade's RV lot before, we had a big, massive lot, and it had tons of different gravel and stuff like that. And we have golf carts to zoom you around and make it really, really quick just because of how big it is. But now the shopping experience has gone to the next level. We're always trying to improve the shopping experience, and then also just your experience overall being an RVer and what you should expect out of a dealership. And so we just installed, Wade got the concrete pads up there, and we're working on getting electric all the way down. So we've gotten it about halfway down. So whenever you come to Wade's RV to look at a unit, guess what? It's going to be plugged in, and it's going to be cold, and it's going to be powered up, so you can see all those features. And so with our motorhomes, we've got all of those pretty much plugged in right now, and then we're working on getting the fifth wheels and then the travel trailers on down the line. So it has been a massive improvement that we've had with that. And then we've also, I believe they started painting on the new offices that we've had. So we're going to get into a little bit later our finance department and the different changes that we've had there to make it just even better than it's ever been before. But we made those folks a new office area, and so it's going to make, for one, it's going to be more efficient, and it's going to be faster just for everyone to get in and out. And then you're going to be able to get your RV faster as well. So it's really, really cool. They're getting that wrapped up. So hopefully in the next week or two, we'll get everyone moved in there and everyone settled in. So it'll be really, really great. But we do have some great, great used coaches. I always love going out there and seeing what we have for that new inventory and stuff. And I got a notification that we had an American Eagle come in, and these things are incredible. They're top of the line, and the styling just will make your jaw drop. I talk a lot of times about how these higher end RVs, they're just so much ahead of their time. And so whenever you walk in this one, it's a 2008. It does not look like a 2008. If you walk into some of these brand new RVs, you'd be like, I mean, that's very, very similar. And so it was very, very ahead of its time. And so what I like is it, you know, the light colored cabinetry, it seems to be really popular right now. Well, it has that, but then it kind of has a gray stone tile underneath it. And it is just beautiful. And so you got to get on the website and you got to check it out, or even better, come on out and see us out at Wade's RV. We're going to be open until 5 p.m. this evening. So come on out and ask for one of the guys, and they'll take you out and show you around and show you this amazing piece. It's just beautiful. I think there ought to be a museum for RVs, not necessarily just the history, but the art, because there is a lot of art and styling in these things.
Need to take a break. You're listening to Camping with Wade's RV. It's 102.3 KRMG. When we come back, Willy D will explain a little bit about branding and how all of that works. If you're shopping for an RV, it might look a little overwhelming at first, but he'll make it easy for you. It's coming up on Camping with Wade's RV. This is KRMG.
Camping with Wade's RV every Saturday at noon on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk.
Welcome back. It's Camping with Wade's RV. This is 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. I am Skyler Cooper, joined by Willy D, sitting in a New Air, a beautiful RV out there at Wade's RV, 161st and Highway 75. You got the air cranked up in that thing, man? I bet it feels good in there.
Well, okay, little known secret. So when I'm actually in these RVs, I get them really, really cold right before we go on the radio show. And then I kick them off just because I don't want any background noise or anything like that. But it is nice and chilly right now. It's about 65 degrees in here. And I'm not just sitting, I'm actually kicked back and reclined. So, you know, we've been out of the studio for a little bit. It's not necessarily all bad in the Willy D world because I am nice and relaxed. I'm sitting in this chair. One thing that I noticed right when I sat down, for one, it's comfortable. It's a flex steel chair. That's exactly what they use in the front of the cabin, but the leather quality in here is just second to none. Many times there's this pleather, which is basically fake leather. That's not what's in here. I mean, this stuff is nicer than King Ranch leather, which in my book, being a cowboy, is top of the line right there. So this thing is just absolutely fantastic, and that's where I'm doing the radio show from today.
Man, it sounds like you got the life. I'm sitting here in a studio with fluorescent lighting and wires.
They treat me pretty good here at Wade's RV. I'm not going to lie. I love my job every day that I come here. I get to learn about different RVs. I get to help people find the right RV. And one of my favorite things is showing people where to take their RV, because that's what it's all about, is getting out and exploring Oklahoma and America and just everything about what's in front of you.
We love to tell people about all the different tools available to find ways to go out and camp, you know, whether that's travelok.com or the new Oklahoma State Parks app. Those things are really cool. So check those out if you haven't downloaded those yet. They're free and you can get them on your phone. Willy D, I wanted to ask you about brands of RVs. If someone's shopping and they hear us talking about Newmar and all of these different things, it might be confusing because you guys carry like 24 brands, right? But a lot of times in the RV world, it might be made by the same people, but it's a different line, so it's a different brand name. Do I basically have the essence of that right?
Yeah, you're exactly right. So there's only two big I mean, there's like worldwide manufacturers. There's basically there's Thor, and then there's Forest River, and underneath that they have just like 20 or 40 different brands, and then you have kind of your family-owned companies, which is Newmar and Tiffin and things like that. And so there's a lot of different brands that are made by the same people. Now you have to wonder, why would they do that? It's because not everything in those RVs, for one, the features, but then the construction is going to be different as well. So different plants build things differently. Just like if you go to get a cabinet from Home Depot or you get one from Lowe's, yeah, it's still a cabinet, but there's going to be little differences in them both. And so what we have at Wade's RV is we have compiled 24 plus of the best brands that are out there on the market that are, for one, going to be reliable, going to be cost effective, and then they're going to be the most advanced in technologies and features. So we have a little bit of everything for everyone, and we brought all that together. And you might ask, how have you done that? It's from expertise and years and generations of being in the RV world. Randy Sloan is a third generation RV man, so he's been around the world. He's been around the block a time or two, let's just put it that way. And Wade, he started out when he was 19 working on RVs, and so we've been around the block and we've been working on these, and we see the nuts and bolts of it all, not necessarily just whenever you walk in and go, wow. We want to make sure that you're going to be able to get down the road, you're going to be able to get up, and you're going to be able to set up, because if you can't get to your camping destination, what's your camper worth? So we want to make sure that you get there and you're going to be able to use your camper whenever you get there. That's most importantly. And not all RVs are created equal. And so we have compiled the best of the best and the best brands in the motorhomes, travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, everything that you can think of. That's what we have here at Wade's RV.
So if Randy's third gen, that makes Brennan fourth gen in the RV world?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. So they have a lot of family that's been in the RV industry for a very long time. Randy's dad actually had his own dealership back in the day. So Randy's had just about every single position in the RV world that you could imagine. I'm slowly working my way through there. It seems like I've done just a little bit of it all. I think the only thing I haven't really done is work in the parts department. I've helped customers out with parts, but I haven't actually sat down and done that, or I guess warranty too. But everything else, I like spending time in the shop. I'm kind of like Wade. I don't like to be cramped up in the office. So anytime I can get out, making a video about a different RV or delivering an RV, that's what I'm about, or even fixing an RV, because I love to learn about them. There's so many different things to learn and all the different systems on it. So if I can always get out there and get my hands dirty, it just means I'm going to be able to help someone that much more whenever we're out on the road at a show or just out camping. A lot of times people find, hey, that's Willy D from Wade's RV. And I find myself working on a lot of RVs whenever I'm out there at the state park, just because I'm out there and I want to help. I want to help people get out there and enjoy their camping trip themselves.
Before we take the break here at the bottom of the hour, let's double back on that 24 brands thing. I'm curious if all these people, all these manufacturers and brands have each class available, or are there ones that specialize in a particular type?
So with Wade's RV, we have the different brands and the different segments that we believe are the best in that segment. So with Newmar, we believe that they have the very best Class A's available on the market. And we don't just believe it, we'll show you. So come on out to Wade's RV. If you think you know a better one, come on out. We'll show you why Newmar is the best of the best. So come on out and we'll show you that. But necessarily, whenever we're talking about our Class C's, we partnered with Integra because we really like what they're doing with their Class C's, not just with construction, but the value that's there as well. And so whenever you're talking about that, we do choose those different brands for those different segments. With their fifth wheels, we have many different brands in the fifth wheel segment. But it really goes on the category. So if you're looking for a brand new fifth wheel within, a certain budget, we're going to have that brand. If you're looking for a fifth wheel and necessarily a higher end model, we're going to have that. But we partner with different ones. We partner with Riverstone for our very high end model because it's got the value, it's got the luxury, and it's got the construction. Whenever you compare it to its next partner, which is going to be a Mobile Suites is $50,000 more, Skyler. Take that in. And then to me, this never set well. If you walk up to the kitchen and you lift that kitchen slide down, you could throw a Snickers candy bar underneath there. So to me, that's not very sealed up. And there's lots of different reasons within that. But that's why we chose to partner with Riverstone, is because of all that value and the quality and construction that you're going to be able to have. Because that Riverstone, you can't do that too. And it's going to have the same 3-inch walls. I believe it's built even better than that Mobile Suites. And like we said, you're going to be able to save a whopping $50,000 on that. And so it just depends on what segment you're looking at. but we have all those different RVs that are going to be the very best in that segment. And come on out and we'll show you why. And we can tell you, hey, this is what the competitor has. And this is why, the Vibe or the Aspen trailer, the Catalina is just to that next level. And even within those segments, when we're talking about aluminum sided travel trailers, we have multiple different brands. So you don't necessarily have to go out there and shop for different brands. We got it all right here. So we can show you the different styles and the different construction and all of that, so you can make the very best decision whenever it comes to purchasing your next RV.
It's Camping with Wade's RV. We'll take a break for the bottom of the hour. We'll be right back.
This is Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk.
Welcome back. It is Camping with Wade's RV. This is 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. Glad to have you back with us on this Saturday afternoon. I'm Skyler Cooper, joined by Willy D, and he is broadcasting in style today. Each week, since we're having to do this remotely still, Willy D will tend to pick a really cool spot to do the show. Last week, he was at Blue Star Mothers. They are partnering with them. You can go check out Wade's RV through August 15th, and they're going to donate a portion of their sales to Blue Star Mothers and help those folks out. It's a great cause. But Willy D today is broadcasting from a new air, really beautiful coach. I want to come see this thing, and if they'd ever let us get closer one-on-one, Willy D, maybe it's a big unit, right? I could be in the back, you could be in the front. We could do a show from there.
Yeah, I think that's what we should do. We should bring it down to the studio. I'll do it up front. You can do it in the back. We'll be kicking back, relaxing. And as you said, we'll be doing the radio show in style.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. I think we should work that out. We have a lot of room in this parking lot, too, so it's easy to do. In fact, I know you've driven big RVs here before. We left the show together, and I've seen a big RV down the Memorial, and I'm like, that's Willy D. They drove that to the station.
It's one of my favorite things. Yeah, I love driving RVs around town. It's pretty fun, and one of my favorite features is the air horn. I'm not going to lie. I love using that air horn, but they're just fun to drive, and they're super comfortable. I sold an RV to someone the other day, and he said, I want an RV that drives like a Cadillac. Boom, I got it. So we put him in a great RV, and he said, it drives just like my Escalade. I can navigate it really, really easy. And he was kind of frightened to get up there in that driver's seat, but I gave him the good old Willy D driving school. So I might need to take you through that program. It's pretty interesting. I take everyone over to a big parking lot. It's kind of like I'm conducting airplanes and stuff. So we make it really, really comfortable and make it easy where you can learn how to park and drive down the road. It's a pretty cool thing. And that's another great thing that we do at Wade's RV is whenever you do purchase a unit, we give you a full class on how to use it. And if you do need a driving lesson, we can do that as well. There's lots of different guys who specialize in that. Or you can always ask for the Willy D driving school, and I'll take you out.
I officially volunteer to take that class, Willy D, and I'll even let you film it for your YouTube channel because I'm sure to make a fool of myself.
I don't know about that, but yeah, it'd be great content, I'm sure, and we'll have to go give it a try next time you're out here at the lot.
That sounds good. So let's talk about the people who might have an RV, it's old, and they want to get a new one, or they've just decided, hey, I don't have room for this right now. I don't know how someone doesn't have room for camping in their life, but let's say you want to sell your RV. Wade's RV is also the place for that, and there are many aspects to making that happen. You guys can do so many different things for them.
Yes, so we can do a ton of different things. If you have an RV, or let's say you have a family member that has an RV, tell them we are buying RVs. We are consigning RVs at top dollar. So right now, RVing has become so popular. I'm sure everyone has seen it in the news, heard it on the radio. And if you're listening to this show, obviously you have some interest in RVing, and RVing has just taken over. I've been hearing the term, this is the summer of the RV. And so right now we want as much inventory here on the lot as we can get. So we have a great selection from people coming in and buying new units, but we have to replace those used units whenever people come and purchase those. At Wade's RV, our used selection is the best of the best. It's clean, it's quality, and it's priced right. And so whenever you come out here, you're going to have a great selection, and we just want to grow that. So if you have an RV that you're looking to get rid of, give us a call. We base all of our bids on the NADA book. So it's not just, you're calling up, hey man, I got an RV I'm looking to sell, and it's this, and this, and then you're, messing around with numbers. No, we go by the NADA book, and that is basically the Bible of whenever it comes to values. And so we go off of that, and that way you know that you're going to get a fair deal. And so if you're wanting to sell your RV, come on in. We can give you a price on that. Or what's even better is you can get even more money is if you can sign that RV with us. So we're going to pull up that book value, and we're going to look at that trade-in, and we're going to look at that retail number. And guess what? No one has ever bought anything ever at Wade's RV for full retail. If they did, that I'd be totally shocked because that just never never happens because banks won't even loan on full retail. So the moral of this story is we have to find a number that's going to work great for both parties. And so we look at that trade in, we look at the retail, and we find a number in the middle that's going to work good for both of us. And so then we consign it, and there's zero fee consignment. So whenever we agree on that number, let's just say it's $15,000, you're not having to pay, 10% on that $15,000 or, pay a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there. No, that's not the way it works at all. It's very simple. We agree on a number, and whenever that unit sells, you get a check, and you're just going to have a big smile on your face, and you can take it to the bank and, have a great day, go to dinner, and have a great evening with it. But we make it very, very simple for you. And so whenever you come in, whenever we get your unit consigned, we're going to take it through and we're going to clean that up, because whenever it's on our lot, like I said, we have the best clean, quality, and the best price units out there. And so we want to make sure it's shining bright. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to advertise it. So that's what Willy D is in charge of. I make sure that it's on RV Trader. I make sure that it's on Craigslist. I make sure that it's on Facebook. And then also we have a great team inside there, our sales force, and they have books of what people are looking for, because whenever you come in here, we might know what you're looking for, and we have a ton of different RVs. But as I tell people all the time, we don't have a used factory that we can call and just say, hey, 1-800 used factory, send me down this 2008 Monaco with 3 slides, it's 42 foot and has a residential refrigerator. So whenever we have units like that come in, people know what they're looking for. All those folks get on the phone and start dialing those numbers and let everyone know that it's here. It's kind of like a race. So you know that your unit is more than likely going to sell very quickly. You can never predict when it's going to sell, because you never know when a customer is going to come in. But we make sure that it is out there in every form and fashion that it can be seen. That way people know your RV is for sale. So we advertise it for you. And the next thing is we show it for you. We've talked a couple different times on this show about how the old Craigslist effect, where people used to come and knock on your door and come look at your RV in the back of your yard. And half the time these people are just wasting your time. I'm sure they have nothing better to do than just get on Craigslist and make appointments, or not show up for their appointments, or just offer you, half of the price that you listed it for. So we handle all of that for you. So you're not going to have to worry about listing it, setting an appointment, showing these RVs. We're going to handle all that for you. And then we also, one of the most difficult things is we handle all the financing. And so if you need the financing done on there, we're going to handle it. So if someone has a trade, guess what? We can trade them for your RV. If you're selling it in your backyard, I doubt you're going to be trading for them and, doing that sort of thing. So we make it very, very easy for the customer to find this RV, purchase this RV, and take it home and have a smiling and satisfying feeling whenever they have that. And we're working for you just like we're working for that customer. So whenever I was in the sales force, if I had someone interested in a consignment unit, I always said, if you like this unit, give me an offer, because Jane Doe, she had me consign this and she wants us to sell it. So if we have someone interested, that is our job, is to make sure that we get an offer out of them. Maybe it was a little bit less, but maybe that would be acceptable. We're going to give you a call and at least give you a shot at that, because everyone wants to know if someone's interested. And if you have an offer, we want to make sure that you know about it. And that way we can work for the customer and work for you. And, everyone's going to be happy at the end of the day.
I've been redoing some of my house lately and dealing with a lot of Facebook Marketplace and online sales. It's just a headache, so don't mess with that kind of thing. Just let Wade's RV do it. It sounds easier, and then when it's done, you just cut them a check and they're on their way, right?
That's exactly right. So we will handle all of that advertising, showing, getting it financed, getting the person in that unit. And then, yes, whenever we get all of that done, we give you a call and we say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, we have sold your RV. Come on down and pick up that check, and you can take it to the bank and do whatever you'd please with it. So we make it very, very simple for you. All it takes is just a little bit of time. So if you're interested in selling your RV, give us a call at 918-291-1011. I'll give that to you again, 918-291-1011, and we will get you hooked up with one of our specialists, and that way we can make that happen. We will get you money in the bank, or you can also use that money to go get you a new unit. Many times whenever people are coming in to trade in their unit, they're not able to get exactly the value they're wanting, just because, a unit is cut down so far low. They're just not able to give a full trade amount on there. So what you can do is take that money and put it towards your new unit. So if you have any questions at all, just come on down to Wade's RV or give us a call, and we will be more than happy to walk you through the whole process. It's very, very simple, and it's very popular. That's why people do it here at Wade's RV.
We'll take a break. This is Camping with Wade's RV on KRMG. I'm Skyler Cooper with Willy D. When we come back, Willy D's got some tips on parts and accessories and what you need to know about finding all the latest and greatest, and some cool spots to go camping if you want to. The rain finally stopped. It's a beautiful weekend, so it'd be a good time to get out there. Willy D's got got some advice on where you should go. This is Camping with Wade's RV. It's 102.3 KRMG.
You're listening to Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk.
Welcome back. This is Camping with Wade's RV. You're listening to 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. Skyler Cooper along with Willy D. If you missed the first part of our show, remember you can always find our shows anytime, anywhere. The KRMG app or krmg.com. We have a podcast up there, and you can find each week's show. And Willy D, you guys, speaking of finding extra things online, they should always check you guys out online, wadesrv.com. But I really like your YouTube channel because you have fun videos up there, and you also have really informative videos. So anyone who needs to know how to do something, or maybe you just want to see a new product, you guys have a really wide array of videos on your YouTube channel.
We have a wide variety of videos on the YouTube, and you can also access those on the actual website as well. I have them all under our blog section. And so if you're looking to how to do a certain job on your RV, or if you're just looking to learn a little bit more about camping or different camping spots, I usually film whenever I go out to these new camping spots. And so you can kind of see that and follow along with my adventures.
All right, so we'll talk about some of those spots before we wrap up the show. We have a few minutes left on Camping with Wade's RV today, but first let's talk about parts. It's an area that can be really tricky for people who are out camping. I've heard stories from, it can sometimes be a nightmare. Something breaks while you're out camping or you're on your way to your camp spot. Wade's RV has you covered, and I know based on Willy D's delivery diaries that you've actually taken things to people when they're in emergency.
Absolutely. So many times whenever you have your RV break down, I would say almost every time, it's frustrating. I mean, same thing with your car. It's just frustrating. It's inconvenient and things of that nature. So we have part specialists, and I have been known to make a parts run every once in a while to help a camper in need whenever they're out camping, and, even help them get that part installed. But I have part experts here. I have John, Larry, and I have Frank, and these guys know RVs inside and out. And whenever we're talking about experts, Larry, he was a master certified technician for 30 years. This guy has worked on an RV or two. So it's not just about getting you the part, but it's about helping you with the knowledge about getting it installed. I know one of my favorite things whenever I first got my car was to go down to, the Napa store and get a shock or something like that. And then all the guys would tell me, hey, this is how you need to do it. And I'm glad they gave me that advice, because it was a lot of times not anywhere close to what I was thinking in my uneducated mechanical mind. And so the same thing over here, our guys are going to help you find those parts. And a lot of times those hard to find parts, we can get parts for RVs that we don't even necessarily sell here. So if you're looking for something unique, for one, they probably need a picture of it, but take a picture of it, give my guys a call, and they can try to hunt it down for you. And if you do want it installed, we can handle that for you as well. I have the best of the best right here, and they're here to save you time and money. The worst thing I always hate is whenever I'm doing a project and you got to go back because you forgot a part or you got the wrong part. My guys are here to help eliminate that. And so not going to say everyone's perfect, but we're here to cut back on that back and forth. A lot of times whenever I was doing jobs, like I was saying, is, you got the part, but maybe you need a lubricant, or maybe you need a seal, and that just wasn't something you were thinking of. These guys have done the jobs that you're going in there to do. And so they can give you that pro advice. So you're not going to have to come back for that part, or not install the piece exactly correctly and have even more frustration. So those guys are just there to help you get in, get out, and get your RV fixed. And if you love DIY, these guys are the guys to talk to. Or if you just need a part, a lot of times people order very complex satellite systems or camera systems. You can order that from us, and then we'll go ahead and install it for you. So we make it really nice and easy.
The satellites and cameras are probably some examples of what I was just about to ask you about. So parts and repairs, that kind of thing is one aspect, but what is there in the world of RVs in terms of accessories and aftermarket things that people might want to get and put on?
There's tons and tons and tons of different parts and accessories. We actually have a giant book. I mean, this thing is it's about the size of a phone book full of parts and accessories that you can get for your camper, from wagons to floor mats. One thing I always like to upgrade a lot of times is faucets and shower heads. You can always do that. Different handles for your cabinetry. If you want different sound bars, they have that. They even have covers for your RV. They have just about everything. One of my favorite accessories, I am totally shocked I forgot about this, but the 12-volt refrigerator freezer. I mean, it's incredible. So you can have that in the underbelly of your RV, just up your storage compartment. And guess what? You have a cooler that you never need ice for. It's the best thing ever. And so they have lots of different things like that. Or even if you want to upgrade your curtain, I talk about curtains a lot of times because not all RVs have the same type of curtains. And so if you want to upgrade things like that, LED lights, different seats, even different furniture, you can order that from us as well. If you have an idea, bring it to Wade's RV and we can make it happen for you.
That sounds good. And I know I would need that advice if I were headed down there to get some of that stuff. And I need that big book. I love flipping through those things, getting ideas. And it reminds me of when I was a kid and I used to have the Dennis Kirk books for my four-wheeler accessories and all those different things. Them and Rocky Mountain, I spent too much money buying different gear and parts and accessories. So head to Wade's RV for that information. Hey, before we check out of the show today, Willy D, let's get a couple of spots where people might want to go camping this weekend.
So if you're looking for a great spot to camp, I actually gave this recommendation out yesterday. One of my favorite local spots here, I live out in Beggs now. And so this Okmulgee Lake is just really, really close for me. And so I love going up to Okmulgee Lake. It's the Oasis in the Oaks is what they call it. And I had never heard about this spot until I actually delivered an RV up there. And once I delivered this RV, I understood why it's an oasis. It's not just the atmosphere, but it's the people there as well. So Charles and Cherie, they're the camp host at Red Oak, and they treat you like family from the moment you pull in. Cherie, she is a avid fisherman. So if you're looking for a camp spot, she can kind of lead you in the right direction. And one thing that she does really cool as you're going through the parks is you'll know that all the signs directing you places, they have a lot of extra art and different things on there. She actually hand paints all of those. And so she kind of has a little side job every day. She said she started by just doing the signs in Red Oak, and then Glenn started bringing her all the signs from all around camp. So that's been keeping her busy. And then Charles, he'll show you all around the park and show you the different facilities. And he really likes hiking. So if you like hiking, he can show you some of the great trails around that camp. And my favorite spot over there at Okmulgee Lake is the Scenic Overlook is what they call it. And it's this big kind of cliff rock thing. And so you can walk up there and you just see right over the lake and all into the trees and everything. And it is just really, really amazing. And it's quiet. Whenever you're going out there and you're camping, you want a nice quiet atmosphere. You don't want necessarily a bunch of, banging music going on and people having a party all night long. That's not the case out there. You're going to be able to have a nice, peaceful and relaxing stay. So it's one of my favorite spots to go. And it's a plus. They always let me shoot commercials out there. So I always love that about it as well. They're really always welcoming and they always have a spot ready. So I got to thank them for that. And then another great spot, if you haven't heard about Robbers Cave, this place is cool. I always love the Wild West and hearing about all those different stories. And at Robbers Cave, what this was outlaws as they were running from the law. They were hiding up in the hills and they were hiding in caves. That's why they call it Robbers Cave, is because these outlaws were up there. Jesse James and then Bell Star, that kind of outlaw gang sort of stuff. They were up there and they were hiding out up there. So it's really cool. You can hike around and it makes you just feel like you're going back in time and history. And so you can get out there. There's lots of great history and there's lots of great scenery as well. So Oklahoma just has so much to offer. And so I really encourage people to get out there and see exactly, what it has to offer. One thing that I always love is telling my friends about these new camping spots. And so if you want to be the cool one in the group, go ahead and, kind of give your friends a nudge and say, hey, if we're not doing anything this weekend, let's go out to Robbers Cave. And if they've never heard about it, you can kind of give them that little story. And let me tell you, they're going to be talking about it for weeks and you're going to be talking about it for weeks as well. These are two great spots. And if you're looking for a great spot to go camping, I would definitely check it out. And they fill up quick. So, make sure you call them in as soon as possible, because I'm sure listening to this radio show, there's going to be a few people going out there right after they hear this as well.
Out of time for today. This has been Camping with Wade's RV. Willy D, have fun up in Skytig. Don't forget to get you some barbecue at Max. Say hi to Adam and have fun at your rodeo.
Yes, sir. Wish me luck, and hopefully I ride for A.
All right, we're going to see you next week every Saturday at noon. It's Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk.